Hello friends, welcome back. So in this session we will learn about generics. So what is generics? If we say the very general or very basic definitions of generic, then we can say that generics means not specific or without having any name. If you take an example, suppose if you go to doctor for your medical health checkup, in that after checking your medical health, your doctors will suggest you some medicines. And if the doctor says that the medicals the medicines are generics, it means what? If the if the medicines are generics, in that case that medicine is not labeled with any company name, and without any company names. There is no company name or no branded name in that medicine. It means that is a generic medicine. So in the same way, we can say that generics means something that is not specific or without having any brand name. It's called generics. Generics is introduced in Java, but in Java generics means what? It defines a tighter type checks at compile time. Suppose what? Sometime I want to store some specific types of data. Suppose so far we have we have already defined one variables of some type, like that can be a string, int, long, byte, boolean, short, double, or number, or student, user, string, person, employee, or any other custom types. So we will define the type of data and the variable name. So in that variable we can store only the particular type, we can store the value only that is corresponding to the data type only. If it is a string, then only we can initialize we can store the values as string only. If it is a number, then we can store only the numbers. If it is a student, then we can store only the student object. So that is specific. But generic says it's not specific, means the variable type is not specific. That you can define at compile time. So that's why it is saying tighter type check at compile time. Using generic, we can specify the type that has to store. So let's take one example first, then we will see. So generics. So suppose here I have created one my storage class, and in that my storage, currently I am not considering this one, I am taking this value as a string. So the value object is a string only, value is a string, or you can say this is a data, no issue. You can say this is a data, this dot data is equals to this data. Okay, no issue. Set data, get data. Okay, you can use this variable name, anything, no issue. So here you can see from this class very clearly, we have created one my storage named class with one variable of a string type. That variable name is a data, means in this string variable what data we can store? We can store only the string data. only the string data, and the data I am storing while creating the my storage class only. Okay, so while creating the object of my storage, I can specify what exactly the data, whatever the data, and the data I am initializing here. So that's it. So here if you see, I can store here only string, suppose name only, no issue. So this name is stored, and get data means data that is a string type. So it is coming, now it is showing here. If I run this one, you will see it's very easy. This is the data, this is the data. Okay, so the data is this string value, that is a Ramnivas. Okay, so currently what I have did here, I have specified here the type. I have specified the type. What should be the type for data? Type for data reference variable can be a string only, and if I wanted to store some other types, then what I have to do, suppose this is a string type, later on I wanted to store this is a number, this should be a number. In that case, what you have to do, we have to change this to number. Number means 120, that's it. So if it is a number, then that is also number, and this number is printing here. So this is the one way what we can do. If we have specified the data for this my storage, I want to store number, so I can store number because I have specified the number. But if I want to store string, then I have to make changes here, again. This is a now string type, that now will be string type only. So now if it is a string type, then it can be, and you have to supply here string only. So this is string. So what is the solution for that one? Because I have to change the data types now, but I don't want to do that one. We don't want to do the data type modification every time, and that is also not recommended. You should not do like that. If you do like that, then in some other classes, if my storage class you are using, it will give impact, it will give compilation error. Definitely it will give compilation error if you change the data type to something else, because that class is written only and that class is being used into some other classes, but you are modifying this class, it means it will be impact. So in that case what you have to do, you can resolve this issue by object class, no issue. You can give this as an object type, no issue, because object is everything, because all the classes are the subtype of object only. So now what you have to do here, you can see here one thing, it's very easy. You can see if I give here object, it will work, object, and if I am printing here, but currently the data, this is an object, but the data is not type of object here. This is a string actually. Object is the generics, you can say that like that only. Object is the super type only, so not generic. Object is the super type for all the classes, so that's why it is a taking object, no issue. But exactly this is a type of string only. So if you do the string here, it will not work now, it will not work. What you have to do, you have to do typecast. So once you did the typecast, it will work very much fine. Yes, it is working. And now here you can store anything, you can store number also, no issue, 120. If it is a number, then what you have to do, you have to typecast here, then only it will work, it's working. If you have to store any boolean value like true, you can store, no issue. In that case you have to do this boolean, boolean. boolean. So now if you see, this is a true. So what the advantage now you are getting? You are declaring this data type is an object. The type for this data variable you are defining as an object. So that is fine, because object can take any types, because object is the super type for all the types that you are declaring, or it's already inbuilt for any data types, for any classes, whatever is defined, that is the type of object only, because object is the super type. So this is the one way that we can do. But here what we are facing the issue, because suppose if I give here string, you can give no issue, but in this time it will give class cast exception, because you are doing the class casting wrongly, because this currently this the data, whatever the data is there in this data object, that is a type of string, but you are trying to typecast into number, or sorry, in boolean. And if I if I am trying to typecast to number, so in that case also it will give class cast exception, because you cannot cast. So there is no relationship between number or string, there is no relationship. If it is not relationship, then you cannot do typecast now. Typecast you can do only if the object is available of a particular type. If it is not available of particular type, you cannot do. So to remove this issue, what you have to do, suppose if my storage data instance of number, then you do this one, else if. So we have to resolve in this way now, because we have defined the object type, in that case you have to resolve in this way only, because there is no other way to resolve this one, okay. So if it is a boolean something, that also you can do, no issue. You can take this is a boolean, whatever, right? You have to give this if else, these many types, if else. If it is a boolean, then typecast to boolean. Now what you will get, suppose if I run this one, you will see data omnivores. Next time I wanted to store here number, yes, you can store up to your choice. Yes, you want to store some boolean types, that also you can do. It's up to your choice, because we are not, before to making the typecast, we are checking first. Before to do the typecast to number, I am checking whether the type is whether the reference variable is a type of number or not. If the reference variable is a type of number, then I am doing the typecast. If it is not there, then I am checking whether the reference variable data is a type of string. If it is a type of string, then I am doing typecasting. And I am checking here for boolean, if the data reference variable is a type of boolean, then I am doing the typecast to there. So like that, n number of conditions we can check, no issue. If it is a student type, we can check instance of student, person, employee, address, anything, whatever you define a type, for that one you can use this instance of. So it will give the code complexity. Now complex code will be more than more, because this is you can store anything. You can store string, because you can store anything here. No, so to process that data, you have to be careful, because first you have to check whether this is a particular type or not. If it is a particular type, then only you are making the typecast. Or else what we have to do, we have to define this is a specific type. But if we define this data reference variable of a specific type, then we cannot not store whatever we want. Actually, we have to store only the particular type. For that it is defined. So what is the other solution that you can do? It means we can remove this code and we can store any types. So what exactly the solution? The solution is generic. Generics means I can give this type. This is a type. T stands for type. T is nothing but any character. You can give T. You can give anything. ABC, no issue. T. You can give ABC, no issue. It's up to you. But if it is an ABC, then you have to give here ABC. Now this ABC is any type, no issue. You can just give here ABC, ABC, ABC. That's it. Now this much code is not required. You no need to do the typecasting. You no need to do typecast at all. Why? Because I can give here type. That's it. If I am giving here type, in that case you no need to do this typecast also, because it will give here only the compilation error. What exactly the error is saying? Type mismatch cannot converted from string to boolean. How it knows whether the return type of get data is a string? Because the return type of get data is ABC. We should not use ABC, we should use single upper character actually. So that's why I'm using T. That's it. Okay, T stands for type. Okay, any type, data of any type, no issue. So in that case, what exactly the return type for this get data return type is a T. T stands for anything, generic, any type. So any type. How now it is how your compiler can say the type is mismatched because string cannot be converted to boolean? How compiler know whether the return type should be string? Because you are telling here this is a generic. Angular braces, within the Angular braces you have to give the reference type, only reference type. It should not be like that. You cannot give here int. No, you cannot give. Yes, you can give here 120, but here you cannot give int. But for that one you have to use this one only, integer. If it is an integer, you can give no issue. So now if you see the error, actually what exactly now the error come? Type mismatch cannot converted from integer to boolean. Now this time it is saying integer to boolean, but before it was saying string to boolean, because I was specifying the type here, string. Now this is a string. If it is a string, then you have to give here string. And now if you see this error, it will say type mismatched, cannot convert from string to boolean or anything like student. Student. So this is a student. So here you have to give student. Now new student, okay. So now what exactly the error will come? Type mismatched, cannot converted from student to boolean. So here what you have to give here now, student only. That's it. And if you give here a string, then you have to give string here only. ABCD. That's it. And if it is a string type, then you have to collect into string only. That's it. And if you run, it will work fine, no issue. If it is an integer, then you just give integer number, no issue. But if it is an integer, then you can collect into int or integer, no issue, because of directly wrapper classes. Okay, so it will work fine. So this is called the generic. Generics means tighter type check at compile time. Tighter, here we are making the tighter type check. Type check, we are telling to compiler, please use my storage class as the data storage type. Data type is should be integer only. We can making the tighter type check here. So this is called the generic. This is called the generics. Okay, so why generic we have already seen, why we need this generic, and these are the three examples. Suppose for first one I am using my storage. For my storage classes, if you see, this is my storage value string value reference value for value reference variable type is a string, so it can return only string type. See, in this way, and here I am using for object. If it is an object, then you can collect into object, no issue. And if it is a generic type, then however you want, you can use for string, you can use for integer, and this we have already seen. So this is all about the generics, what exactly generics and why we need generics. Okay, how to define this generics? Generics can be defined for both, generics can be defined for both, for class level reference variable or static variable, or it can be defined for, this can be defined for the methods also, because methods can also have the variables. Means methods can have parameters reference variable, or method can have a return type also. So there also we can use generics in the same way. Suppose if it is a class, for class level you have to use here T. T stands for type. Type means any type. Or if it is just for method, then you can specify this one here. If it is static, then you can specify also. If it is a non-static, that also for that one you can define. This is the return type, and here what I am telling, what can be the data type. Okay. Okay. So this is the way how we can define generic in our class, and generics can be defined for both, for methods and class. For both it can be used. And here are some naming convention. What exactly, why we have used this T only? Why? Because there is some naming convention, that's why we have used this T. So by convention, the type parameter names are a single uppercase, one condition, single uppercase only. This is uppercase and single character only. Okay. The most commonly used parameter names, suppose E. If E we are using, we can say that is an element. We can say like that, no? Element of index. If we want to create array of a generic type, we can create like that also, because we can store any type of element into that one. So we can use for that for E. E stands for element. Key. K stands for key. Key means key value pair. So K stands for key. N stands for number, if it is only for number. T stands for type, any type. That's why we have used here T. We have used here T only, because this is a type only. Data is a type. Data type. Okay, that's why it is a T. V stands for value, or S, U, V, etc. for second, third, fourth types. Any other types you can use like that, S, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, anything, no issue. And in the UTL package API collection in collection API, we will see this key, value pair, or element, that everything is used into collection API. This generics concept, and the generic is implemented into utility packages only. They have used lang package, this generics in collection API. Okay, suppose now we will see generics method. Generics method are methods that introduce their own type parameter. type parameter. Suppose for methods you can define what should be the type, you can define, no issue. Suppose in this way, this is a public static t stands for return type. I am saying this is a return type, and this for this class what should be the type of this one, we can specify here and we can use in this way. And this is for another static method is null. I am checking whether this is a null or not, and there is a generics is null. If it is a null, then I am returning yes, otherwise I am returning no. That's fine. So let's see this example first. So first I am opening my UTL. I have given this my UTL, and this is my UTL main. So this is my UTL. Inside this my UTL we have given a one. This is a class, and inside this class one static method is there, that is a get object. Get object of what type? Any type. Whatever the type of class you will pass, it will be of that type only. It will be of that type only. But the condition is that one in your class one default constructor should be there, because I am using this reflection code to create the object for that one. So get object id, if id we are passing 1 or 2. Actually this code is widely you implemented into your DAO or whatever the data, how you are accessing the data from database using some id, and that is used into JPA, Java Persistence API. JPA means Java Persistence API, means whatever the Java object you have to store that into some persistence layer, means you have to store into file, database, or in another network, anywhere. So for that purpose JPA we will learn this JPA later. So this is that type of implementation only. If the id you are giving 1 or 2, then it will return the object of that class, otherwise it will return null. So let's see this implementation. Suppose here this is a class, okay, use student class, student student. Okay, so this is a student class, and inside this, because now it is coming a student type only, now this value is a student type. Yes, student. Course number, course is null, and roll number is 0. Default, this is the default values. So now it is coming a student type. If you give here any other type of like number, in that case it will be written number type, but it may gives the error because in number don't have a default constructor, or you don't know for which number actually it should come. So that will give instantiation error, because your class should have a default constructor, public default constructor, then only it will work. So student has that one, or you can create any other class, no issue. For that class it will work. Suppose, okay, so now this is a student, sorry, yes, now it's a student. For student it is working. Or else if you want to create any other class like u, this is u, for u you want to do, you can do anything, no issue. If it is a u, then you can do that one. Yes, now you run and you will see, yes, it is working, it is creating the object for you. Or anything you can give, s, any other classes, uxwz, like that you can use for anything, uxwz. So I'm using for x now. So if it is an x, then it should be collected into x only, because I am specifying the type here. Yes, it will work. So in this way you can define the generics for static method. This is for static method. Okay, and the next one is null. Another method is there that I have also defined it, is null. It will take any, you can give a string also, no issue, it is up to your choice. Okay, so is null. Now I am checking is null, because is null, if you see, that is also generic, and this is a type T. T can be any types. Now here, you whatever the type you will specify, it will use. So I am checking for str first. Is null, yes. Num is null, yes. Sorry. Yes. Our student is null, yes. But what if I will give here for this number, I will give here 1 2. So in this case it will give no, because it is not null. Okay, so in this way you can define for number also, so not for number, for methods return type or method parameter. This is for parameter, this is for parameter, and this is for, so this is for parameter, and this is for, sorry, this is for return type, and this is for parameter. This is for both. Here the type also we are specifying. Class is again generic, then I am telling T only, and this is a type of generics, actually return type. Okay, bounded types parameter is also there. Suppose we can bound this limit. This is if it is a T stand for any type you can give. No? If I am specifying here generics T, it means any type that can be a student. Suppose here we are specifying, no, we can use any types here, X, Y, Z, student, any types we can use here. But I wanted to do some restriction, or I want to define the bound actually. Then how we can do that? So if we want to define the bound for methods parameter or for return type, so that we can do, bound means to restrict the types that can be used as type. So to restrict the types that can be used as the type arguments in the parameterized type, we can restrict, means bounded types parameter is nothing but defining the restriction, some area we can define for the methods parameter or for the return type. So in that case we can use bounded type parameter. So how we can define bound? Bound can be defined for both, for class or method, Suppose if it is a class, suppose we can define the bound in this way. T, we are defining the types as a generic T, but T should be the subtype of number only. It can be the subtype of number only. And if it is a for method, then we can give in this way: U extends number, U types, and U can be the subtype of number only. This cannot be the another data types other than number, or any other data types it cannot be that is not extending number. Suppose this is for class and this is for number. For class, any subtype of number can be passed for my storage class, and for method any subtype of number can be passed for U type parameter, And if you want to bound multiple bounds, that also we can do. Suppose we can say that this and this conditions and condition we are doing, I am saying this type should be means whatever the reference variable you are passing into that parameter, that should be type of A and B, means that should be the subtype of A and B both. In that case we can do the multiple bounds means you can see here. So T extends X and y and z means what? You can define this alpha class, you can define the type, you can define any type for t, any type for this t, but the condition is the type can be the subtype of x, y and z. That can be the subtype of x and y and z. It is not like that it should be the subtype of either x or either y or either z. No, it should be the type of x, y and z, these three only. So in that case you can do the multiple boundation. If you read this one, see, a type variable with multiple bound, a type variable with multiple bound is a subtype of all the types listed in bound, all the types. It's not like that any one of it should be the subtype of any one. No, it should be the subtype of all. Means t can be the subtype of, type can be the subtype of x, y and z, all, for all, not for any one, for all. Okay, if one of the bound is class, it must be the specified first. If there is any class, only one class is allowed, but if it is any class, that class should be the first one. Only one class bound is valid and it must be the first. If suppose this can be the interface, these three can be the interface, no issue. This can be the interface, no issue. But this should be the subtype of, this, if any class is there, that cannot be second or third or any after second or third onwards. It always should be the first one only. Only one class bound is valid and it must be the first one. Only interface bounded are also valid, means all the interfaces, this can all interface, no issue, but this all cannot be classes, because multiple inheritance is not possible, you know already. This all can be interface, no issue, but this all cannot be class. One class is allowed and that class must be the first one only. Only interface bounded is also valid and can have multiple interfaces bound. Multiple bounds can also be applied for generic method. Yeah, methods also you can use in the same way, Okay, so let's see this bounded parameters first. So if you see my UTL, this two we have already seen, get object and is null. Next one is print number. If you see this print number, where is the print number? Print number we have not. Okay, so I can print here print number, my util dot print number. So if you see, this print type, return type is void only, but here I am printing u, but here you see u type means u type can be the subtype of number only, suppose this can be number is equals to new integer of 100. It's fine. This is deprecated, no issue. Integer dot value of 120, no issue. You can use in this way. So this is number now. This is number, and if I run this one, it is fine. 120 it is coming. Or you can use directly integer, no issue. Integer, that is also fine. Or you can use this one is byte, or you can use this is a byte, no issue. Okay, you have to do byte here now. So that is also number, byte is also number. You can use this is a boolean, double is also a number, double is also a number, that is also fine. But you cannot give here string ABC, it will give error, because for this print number, a reference variable of u type is bounded to number only. That can be number, or so that can be the subtype of number only. So that's why if I am supplying here a string, it will not work. It will work only for numbers. Okay, so in this way we can bound. So this is we have bounded for print number, only for number. Next one is extend A. It should be extend A, means any subtype of A or A is valid. Suppose print A, this many are the, because we have already seen this one A, B, C, D, that is the in the typecast we have seen this one. In typecasting we have already seen this one, A, B, C, D, E. So I can print A, B, C, D, E, no issue, it will print. Yes, it is printing. This is A, B, C, D, E, but I cannot give any other than that one. I cannot give. Suppose if I will give here number, it will work. It will not work, because this number is not a B, C, D, E, because what I have given for this one print A type. A type means any types is valid, any type of object is valid that is inheriting A, any subtype of A is valid for this A type. So these all are the valid, but this is not valid because this is not the subtype of A, B or C. Okay, the next one is multiple. This is for multiple bound. Multi-bound means here is A, but A should be the subtype of X, Y and Z. X is a class and Y and Z are interface. If it is a class, it should be first always, and interfaces can have any order, but class should be first. And only one class is available because multiple inheritance is possible through interface only. So that's why one class and other should be the interfaces, or all interfaces can be there, no issue, and only one class can be there, no issue. Okay, so here if you see X, Y and Z, okay, so now this one is that one. Suppose if this is a alpha writer is extending X and implementing Y and Z, alpha writer, and X and Y and Z are nothing. Y get Z is nothing. Z has only get Z method, Y has get Y method, and alpha writer has extending X also. X has one get X method, that is returning X, get Y and get Z, and alpha writer has all these. Alpha writer is extending X and implementing Y and Z. So alpha writer is only the valid for myUTL. Print alpha X, Y, Z, it is printing. Other than if you are giving anything, like if you are giving any number here, it's not valid. It is not valid if you giving any. So if you give any number, it's not valid, or if you give any string, that is also not valid, because this can take only the subtype of X, Y and Z. Okay, so this is a multi-bound this is for multi-bound, this is for multi-bound, multiple bounds. Okay, a type variable multiple bound is the subtype of all, subtype of all, it should be the subtype of all, not anyone, not anyone, subtype of all x, y and z. Okay, and if it is a class, it should be fast, or multiple interfaces are allowed, all interfaces are also allowed, all interfaces can be there, or one class, one first class and remaining interfaces can be there, only one class is available, but multiple classes you cannot give, because multiple inheritance using classes is not possible. Okay, so next one is okay, yeah, this one is multi-bound, and the next one is wildcard. Wildcard, what is wildcard? Wildcard is nothing but this question mark symbol, this question mark symbol. In generics code, the question mark symbol called wildcard, wildcard, it represent unknown type. Suppose sometime you don't know the type, you can specify this wildcard, no issue. And the wildcard can be used in a variety of situation as the type of parameter, field, local variable, sometime as a return type. The wildcard is never used as a type argument for generic method invocation, a generic class instance creations, or a super type. Suppose wildcard can have three categories: upper bound wildcard, unbound wildcard, and lower bounded wildcard. Upper bounded, unbounded, and lower bounded wildcard. So first we will see the upper bounded wildcard. So what exactly means of upper bounded wildcard? So this is the meaning of upper bounded wildcard. Upper bounded means my storage. Here print, we are printing my storage, no? We are printing my storage, and here in this my storage I am taking print my storage method, I am taking a my storage reference variable, but I am restricting here that my storage method is accepting only the subtype of C my storage. Means my storage is generic, we know this my storage is generic, we know, we already know this one, this is generic, my storage is generic, and I will apply here toString, no issue. Okay, so so this my storage is a generic, but if this is a generic, then I can specify this type here, no issue. But I don't want to specify the types, I want to specify the type, whatever the type it can be, but that should be the subtype of that one. In that case I can use wildcard, because I cannot do like that, no, t extend c, it should not be like that. How can it be? It means you can specify here only, no, it will be that type of only, but I don't know the type, so that's why I can use this wildcard. Means I don't know what should be the generic types for my storage, so that's why I have used this wildcard symbol, but I know that should be the subtype of C only, that should be the subtype of C only, C or subtype of C. So suppose if I print that one, print storage A, B or C, so here I have created my storage A, B, C, D and E. First one is a my storage of type A, second one is a my storage of type B, third one is a my storage of type C, fourth one is a my storage of type D, and the fifth one is the my storage of type E. And A, B, C, D, E we have already created. So now I will print those and you will see. So my storage that can be subtype of C, or C valid, D it is valid. For subtype of storage E, this is valid, but A and B, because A and B is not the subtype of C. A and B are not the subtype of C, so it is throwing that compilation error. The method print my storage int type is not applicable for the argument. It's not applicable because this is not the subtype of C, because my storage A is a type of A, but A is not the subtype of C. And here my storage C is a type of C, so it is fine. My storage D, that is a type of D, because D is the subtype of C, so it is fine. And my storage E, that is also my storage E is a type of storage E, and E is the subtype of C. So in that case, this is a valid, and these two are not valid, and this is not valid at all, because it is not taking the type of string. Okay, so if you run, and we will see, yes, it's running. So next one is or else you can print the data, no issue. Get data, that's it. You can print that also, no issue. Now it will print data. Data will also not be there, because A, B, C also should have. Okay, so C, D, E. And the next one is the lower bound wildcard. This is the upper bound. Upper bound means the upper bound of types I am bounding. It should be that type only. It should not be upper than that one. This is the max upper bound that we can specify. What is the max lower bound we can specify in this way? Using super keyword. So here I am using super keyword. Here also I am using super keyword, but here I am telling it should be the super type of C only. Super type of C is A and B only. Super type of C is A and B only. A, B and C, sorry. C is also the super type of C, means C itself also is valid. So super type of C is C, B and A. A is also the super type of C, B is also the super type of C, and C itself is the super type of C itself is the type of C only. So these three are valid, but D and E are not the super type of C. D and E are the subtype of C. So that's why it is giving compilation error. For if you run this one, you will see. You see, this is coming from this one. Command this one. Yes, A, B and C. And the next one is unbounded. Unbounded means this one, any type it will take. Unbounded, no. A, B, C, D, E, even string or boolean or number, any type, boolean. Why boolean is undefined? Oh, sorry, boolean. Have to define here boolean or any type. Means unbounded means it's not bounded. Number 1 to 3. Number. It's not bounded, so it will come. Yes. So this is all about the wild card. Wild card means you don't know the exact type. You can use wild card, and using wild card you can define upper bound wild card, unbounded wild card, and a lower bound wild card. Upper bounded wild card you can use using extend keyword, and lower bound wild card you can use super keyword, and unbounded wild card you no need to use anything, you just use this question mark symbol. So this is all about the wild card. The next one is type eraser. What is type eraser? Type eraser is nothing but, suppose all these statements will be converted only typecast statement. Suppose what will happen, I will use this one only, wait, yeah. So this is my storage, so how exactly internally this will be stored, how this my storage class, suppose this is a my storage. So after compiling this file, what your compiler will do, your compiler will remove this one and your compiler will add object here only. Compiler will do this automatically, we no need to do, because this is the only fundamental way how we can store any type of a data type. This is the only way. But using generics we can define the types, but internally it will be in this way only. Internally your compiler will do this way only. Here your compiler will do this one, that's it. Or this one, your compiler will do this one, that's it. Before it was something you are using some generics code, so the generics code will be converted into your generic statement will be replaced with object, and wherever you are using this statement that will be removed, that generic type definitions also will be removed, and wherever you are accessing that value, automatically the typecast statement will be added by your compiler. So that is called type eraser. Generics were introduced in Java language to provide tighter type check at a compile time, and not supported generic programming. To implement generics, the Java compiler applied type eraser, replace all the type parameter in generic data type and their bounds or object type. Suppose here it will be defined as an object, whether you have defined this t type, no issue, but it will be replaced with object only. It will be replaced with this one, and insert the typecast statement if necessary to preserve the data safety. Means here we were not using, we were using this much only, but we have to do the typecast. So automatically your compiler will do this typecasting. Generate bridge method to preserve polymorphism in extended generic typecast. Suppose how we are handling if it is suppose super and sub we are defining in that case, so that your compiler will automatically take care, generate the bridge method. Okay, so this is all about the type eraser. So this is the generic in Java. So in the next session we will see utility package, because in utility package this generic is widely used. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel, and thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye.